This morning I'm gonna make my sourdough sandwich bread that I use my bread maker for. I don't do anything except put my ingredients in here and then push a couple buttons. 7 hours later, I have fresh sourdough sandwich bread. So I take out my ceramic loaf pan, ceramic coated loaf pan, turn on my scale, I tare it so it's at 0 so that I can measure my milk. I'm gonna put my recipe in the description, but first up I use raw milk that I get locally here in Pittsburgh from the Family Cow, which if you are close to one of their pickup spots, they are awesome. I've got my milk. Now I need my butter. So my butter is room temp, and I'm just gonna add it in clumps until I get the right amount. This recipe doesn't use any other oil, so yes, it is a lot of butter. Next, I'm going to add my flour. I push the button to tare it, so it's back to 0, so that I can properly measure my flour without taking into consideration the other ingredients already in my loaf pan. Okay, so I'm at 0 grams again on my scale, and now I'm adding my honey. I'm not mixing anything, I'm just dropping ingredients in the order of my recipe. The best part is licking the spoon, not gonna lie. Tearing my scale. Okay, so now it's time for my starter. I'm gonna tear my scale. I feed my starter right before I go to bed, knowing I'm gonna make bread with it first thing in the morning. So I'm not using a peaked starter. This peaked sometime in the night. It's on its way back down. It still works great for me. So keep that in mind. Time for my starter. Now we are just gonna put our loaf pan back into the bread machine, and I'm gonna move my camera so you can see my setting. Okay, so now I have my bread machine. I need it to be set for number 3, 2-pound loaf, menu number 3, 2-pound loaf, medium. I will link my bread machine in the description. So this is gonna take approximately 7 hours. So this is why I started in the morning. And then when it's done, so you can see, I just stack my ingredients. When it's done, I take it out and I put it on a cooling rack. And then right before I go to bed, it's cool. So right before I go to bed, it's cooled and I slice it and bag it, and we have sandwich bread for the week. I don't touch it. I like to use flaxseed. I like to use black sesame seed, and I like to use sunflower seed. So we've had a stir, a rest, and we're on the second stir. And after this, it will start its first ferment. I have not touched this. I have not pushed anything down in there. The machine is doing this on its own. You can see some of this is up here. If you wanted to, you could push that down, but oftentimes I've found it ends up gathering it. Like it'll slop itself up there and gather it down eventually. So it really is such a time saver. We are now on our 3rd ferment. Yes, ferment number 3. And as you can tell with this loaf, I did end up doing some inclusions, which is the sesame seeds and flax seeds and sunflower seeds.